La ilaha illallah. There is no God but God. There is no one to worship but God himself, roughly translates, right? To understand and to realize the importance and the strength of saying that and to know what it means in your heart will bring you so much peace as a Muslim. And how it has impacted me was a very long journey that I think parallels my revert story, so I guess I'll talk a little bit about it today, okay? When I was 16, my mom got me a book on Scandinavian interior design. And to say hyperfixation is an understatement. I read that book and looked at the pictures of all the different aesthetics of Norway, Sweden, Finland in that book every single night. And flash forward to today, right? I live in Norway now. So it's kind of part of my fate to come here. But I felt deeply unfulfilled in my American experience in a way that I couldn't articulate when I was a teenager. There's something very uncanny valley about doing the Pledge of Allegiance and how, we worship Burger King and, things like that. I don't know. The culture of the United States is a melting pot, and there's very beautiful things about it. But then there's also some very vapid, superficial things about it, some violent things about it. And that made me feel like this sort of guttural discomfort. It didn't feel good in my heart. So I was on the search for something that felt like it meant more than that, right? So as I read through this book, I kind of had this sentiment in the back of my head, like, why don't you go back to where you came from? Like, put that on white people. I was like, let's try it on a white person. Let's go. So when I was in university in the United States, I took Scandinavian studies as one of my majors. I learned Swedish. I was on a Swedish TV show. I ended up being gifted the ability to come to Sweden. And the whole basis of that show is to learn about your family ancestry. You get a family tree. You find the names, you find the places, you get to go visit where your ancestors are from. And that was really, really like that. I was like, this is it. Finally, I'm going to feel like I know who I am. All 20 years old of me. I'm going to figure it out. Only to move. Well, I did the show and I found out that I ended up moving to a region in Norway, the specific region where my ancestors are from. But spoiler, I don't feel any more Norwegian because I was born as a human being. I was born with the American experience thrust upon me. And since we are amalgamation of all the experiences we've ever had, how can I identify that closely with Norwegians? Like, there's definitely things about it I love. There's definitely things about it that fill my heart up, mostly being away from people and being in the nature. But in the present day, reflecting on what La ilaha illallah means to me comes down to the realization that when I moved here, I actually didn't marry an ethnic Norwegian, but I did marry a Muslim man. And his culture definitely had a more immediate impact on my life than the surrounding Norwegian culture, so that definitely plays a role. But when I did become Muslim, and I started saying La ilaha illallah, I understood there was nothing to worship and to feel connected to other than the nature of reality, the creator of worlds, the entity with 99 names, he who has 99 names, the infallible creator of all things. That protected my soul for the rest of my life. Because I wasn't hanging my hat on a language anymore. I wasn't hanging putting all my eggs in the basket of a land to live on. Like, that was going to be my identity, was land. Rocks, dust. I want to feel like I identify with dust and rocks. No, that's dumb. Couldn't worship language. And then moving to a country that's way less materialistic in a sense than the United States, wasn't really worshiping the American capitalism anymore. That leaves a lot of holes. But they can be filled by La ilaha illallah. And when I have that in me, it's so easy to see how others are worshiping something other than their creator through their desire, through their pain, and through their suffering. Because suffering to me is a sign that you are worshiping something other than La ilaha illallah, right? Keeps me steadfast. And just, I don't know, I've just come to that realization now as I've gotten older, what it really means, and it's really sunk into my bones, so I just thought I would share.